Dynamite download.
What'd you think of the Cody segment, the Cody post-match promo? Because obviously Cody has been very much in, after the match with Darby, losing that TNT title. Team Taz made their impact at Full Gear, and then they did it again tonight at Cody's expense. What were your thoughts on that?
I thought, his promo got cut pretty short, so I was a little confused what was going on at first and who came out, and she lost me for a little while, and I didn't think she was as smooth of a talker. She looks like a beast. I don't know who this person is, actually. They never really officially announced. Can you chime in on who that was?
Jade Garvin.
Okay, but I
agree with
her
cadence, her speech was a little bit. You could tell she doesn't have a ton of experience.
Yeah, a little green
in that regard. The script, the word, like what she's had to say, the actual content of what she said, it hit hard.
For sure.
She had some lines that were pretty awesome, and it had me pretty hyped about what the announcement was going to be.
Yeah, I was still kind of confused, like what was going on, but what my favorite part of that whole segment was, believe it or not, was Brandi. This was the best I've seen her on TV or in AEW. She had like chills going down my arms. I was like, oh my gosh, she is going off as she should, because that's her man.
Yep.
She is coming to the rescue, and I wish she would have thrown a couple punches or something, but she said it all with her mouth, and I was like, if I was that other person, I would have been walking away as fast as I could, because it scared me. And she looked awesome, and she was spitting fire, and don't mess with her, man.
Yeah, Brandi has at times had a lot of critics, and I think that the more we get an opportunity to see her like this, as sort of like that natural fire, she's got some fire in her, right?
Yes, please, more of that.
That was phenomenal. What the actual content leading up to it looks like Cody versus Shaq eventually one day, and obviously Cody has claimed the giant slayer of AEW.
Right.
What are your thoughts on a potential matchup between Cody and Shaq? It's a big part. It's a big buzz right now on social media. There was a lot of conversation about who this would be. What are your thoughts?
I think it's great for the company, and it's great for exposure. I mean, if Shaq's going to take it seriously, which you can see he might be training. I don't know if he's training with those Tom's loafers on or what, but he needs to get some wrestling boots. But it would be nice to see him in the ring. I mean, he's gonna be slow, and Cody is one of the best, like I said last week, in the ring performer that I've seen in a long time, if ever. So it'll be good TV. It's not gonna. I don't think it's gonna be a main event of it. It's not gonna be a Penta and Ray. It's not gonna be a Kenny Hangman. It's not gonna be any of that. But it will be.
It's an attraction.
Yeah,
right?
and I think it's needed to help draw more fans. So I'm excited for it, and especially if Brandi gets involved like this, it's just going to expand the viewership even more. And so I'm excited to see where this goes. And like I predicted a few weeks ago, or last week on the review, how Brian Cage is going to go, the tag team writing in this, I predicted the tag team match between Cody and Darby, and Cage and Starks.
Yep.
But real quick, going back to that, I loved Darby's jacket, and I was really rooting for him. I'm gaining steam from him, and I'm like, okay, I can get along with this. He actually kind of.
It didn't take long, did it?
Right.
It didn't take long. No, right. It didn't.
I agree.
His character is so intriguing and so different from anything else in current wrestling that.
True.
Whenever he's on screen, he pops, and you want to see him. So
yeah.
I knew that although we were worried about how he was being booked, he's so young, and he's just such a unique entity that he's gonna be fine. And
right.
that was a great example. That thumbtack jacket, the dive into Brian Cage wearing a jacket with thumbtacks on it, that's freaking insane, and that's way more brutal than anything that we would want to take in real life, right? So I thought that was impressive, and it's an example too, right, where a guy as small as Darby Allin he will launch himself and come up with creative ways to hurt other people. And that was a great example of that. I do think, AEW is always going to have the backbone of the fan base. It's going to have a loyal, loving fan base. People like us, there are so many people interacting with people on social media. There are a lot of fans. Yes, there are a lot of people who they love being negative. People in general love to be negative, man. But there are a lot of great fans and I think that AEW has a very, very, very loyal fan base that has been established. But integrating Shaq in with really their most recognizable star and Cody, and a guy who is a pro's pro, who no matter what will put on a good performance, he will find a way to make us engage as a fan. I don't know how he's going to do it, but he will. And I agree with you, SPD. If Shaq, and this is what I was talking about on Twitter with people tonight, is if Shaq really does take it seriously, and that's a big if. I mean, at this stage of his life, he's older, and he's doing this, I think, as a company man for TNT. There's,
right.
I know he's a wrestling fan, but if he takes this seriously and goes all in on this could be really entertaining, and we could actually get something that could surprise a lot of fans. And I'm with you. I think at bare minimum, it's going to draw more eyes to the product. Shaq is a brand. Shaq is a well-known commodity for so many people in the target demographic. We all grew up watching Shaq dominate on the court. Now we watch him laughing it up, eating pizza at Papa John's, and doing all sorts of funny gigs on commercials and stuff like that. But
he's a funny guy.
Shaq's naturally charismatic, and he's naturally funny. And I think that we're going to be surprised again how entertaining he is when he's given the opportunity in the ring here. So I'm cautiously optimistic. I do think that, with Cody's character coming off of a title loss like that, it's good for him to kind of have another story that's maybe not title related, to allow Darby to stand on his own. And I thought that went well. Cody made it clear tonight, his eyes are not set on an immediate rematch with Darby. He's right. And I think that that's important, that they allow Darby to breathe a little bit and get his footing as a champion. So
I agree.
Speaking of